Hey, my name is James Butera. I'm the front of house guy for Halsey, and we're here in Dallas, Texas tonight. It's a Quantum 338 from Digico and a healthy amount of Rupert Neve outboard gear.
Nice, you got a lot of rack here.
Yeah.
I see.
Up top for my vocal chain, we've got the 545 into a Newton channel, followed by a BSS 901, just doing some dynamic EQ stuff.
Oh yeah, the 901 is a classic, isn't it?
It is. Just kind of pick them up used when I can.
Yep.
And then up until recently, it's been a distressor into a CL1B. But now with the advent of some new toys, it's now the OptoFET, which is a FET compressor into an opto compressor, which then takes the place of these two units for me.
Oh, sweet. And so you can use the either compressor first or second?
Correct. You can flip which compressor comes first in the chain. I'm running FET first into the opto with a slower attack and slower release, just to kind of mimic what I'm doing here. And it's been great. I've just had it out on another tour on vocals, and again, it did everything I wanted it to do in a single rack space without having to take up 4U, which is huge for real estate.
And you used FET first, opto second on that one too?
Yes. Yeah. There was one day where I took it off the vocal and tried it on bass because I couldn't resist, and then I was like, crap, I only have one, so I had to put it back on the vocal. But it's definitely an amazing tool to have for sure.
Amazing.
So.
And then what else have you got in there, Rupert Neve designs?
The master bus gets converted back into the desk via AES on the MBT, which is great.
And why'd you end up using the MBC to do that?
Honestly, I'd always known about the MBC, and I was just looking for a cleaner way to get the signal back into the desk rather than converting with the Andiamo and bringing it back in. And it was like kind of a natural progression of like, well, they make a converter, let's give it a try. And it was pretty shocking how much better it sounded than bringing it back in over the MADI device. So
critical conversion stage, right?
Yeah, very, very, very noticeable.
And then what do you have on the right side of the rack here?
The right side is kind of more of like group processing. All my groups come out with the direct out Andiamo and hit a 5057 summing mixer, which oddly enough, when this released, I went to it because I needed something small and flyable for flight aids. And I fell in love with the type of transformer that's in this. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's the same transformer that's in the Shelford channel.
That's right.
So it's got a different sonic character than the other summing mixers. And then that feeds into an API 2500 and then an MBT, and that kind of completes the band group there. I went with this unit initially just for the width. I was used to using the width SFE section on the MVP. And then I fell in love with Super Silk and the Zener drive as like that kind of clipping effect on the group. And then slowly but surely I added in the EQ instead of doing it on the desk, doing a little bit of EQ on the MBT itself. And then I use a color comp but at a 50%, kind of like a parallel chain, just to kind of give a little bit more squish to the band and keep them in check. Then we've got a second summing mixer, because this only has 8 stereo channels. And this handles the final band group and a vocal dry and squash group, as well as a vocal effects group. And that feeds directly into the master bus chain. It's been great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, James, so much
of course.
for showing us your rig and for using all this gear from Rupert Neve Designs, man.
Can't help it.